Hello, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the end of the first season review, just a personal review rather than the end of season review, which was in the last episode earlier on today. We started off as manager at Leicester City, and we'll just look at some of our transfers before we go into the schedule and what we did. So in terms of the players that we brought in, we started off here. The first signing we made was Alban Lafont. We brought him for £6.5 million. It was a 21.5 million to rise into 22.5 in terms of add-ons and everything else like that. He was the first player we brought in. We then didn't bring anyone in until deadline day, where we brought in Luis Muriel and Mateus Uribe for a combined just under £15 million. Central midfielder Mateus Uribe and striker Luis Muriel, because we only had three strikers at the club. We then went through to January. We brought in Che Adams, £40 million with all the add-ons. Mario Pasalic from Atalanta, second player to come in from Atalanta. Danilo D'Ambrosio for 185,000, just to shore up that defence. Andre Silva for, it was about 7 million, but with add-ons up to 22.5 million. And Joseph Sotalo, which was 6.5, I believe, rising up to 34.5, up to 35.5 in total. In terms of the players that we got rid of when we came in, Yuri Tillams was the first one to go, £35.5 million to Real Madrid. Danny Ward went to Al Ain in November for 4.6. Johnny Evans went to Wolves for 1.5, which is why we replaced him with Danilo D'Ambrosio. Kelechi Iheanacho went to Tigres for £10 million, and Nampalys Mendy went to West Ham for £5 million. Now let's have a look at the schedule. We're back here on the 25th of January. This is the day we got sacked on, just before the Chelsea game here. So we went through, did the pre-season, that was fine. The first episode was showing the games against West Ham and Man City. The game against West Ham we played really well in. We lost by a goal to nil. It was a late goal that we conceded that was the problem there. Then we got beat by Man City pretty comfortably. Didn't really create an awful lot. And at that point I was starting to worry, okay, we're in a little bit of bother here. Back-to-back defeats. Two good teams, but not where we wanted to start. We then drew with Everton off camera. It was a late equaliser after going 1-0 up. We went 2-1 down, and then we got a late equaliser to get the 2-2 draw. We then beat Northampton in the Carabao Cup second round, got a victory against Fulham 2-0, and then lost against Leeds 1-0 with a late goal from Somerville, I believe it was. 93rd minute goal from Somerville. We didn't play well in that game either. We didn't deserve anything, but it was a late goal. We came back in the next episode, and we played 3 games in September: Forest, Newcastle, Tottenham, and we won every single one of those games. Forest we beat 3-0. Luis Muriel got 2, Wilfred Ndidi got the other. Luis Muriel started like an absolute house on fire. I think he got to 10 goals very, very quickly. Victory against Newcastle as well, and then we beat Spurs. Luis Muriel got 2 against Newcastle, and then the game against Spurs where we won 2-1. Goal scorers were Armati and Jamie Vardy. Then off camera we beat Brighton, we lost against Liverpool, we beat Chelsea, and things were looking good at this point. Looking very, very promising. And then I'm not sure, I think we came back for the Wolves game. So we came back for the Wolves game and we got absolutely smashed. 3-0, didn't deserve anything, that was gone. We then drew with Bournemouth 1-1. Arsenal was a really topsy-turvy game. It was a 5-4 defeat in the finish, where Odegaard and Holden scored early. Soonchi got one back, Martinelli restored the 2-goal lead. Didi and Vardy then made it 3-3 by this point. Emil Smith-Rowe and Martinelli made it 5-3, and Muriel scored in the 83rd minute to make it 5-4. We had 4 shots on target, scored 4 goals, but we conceded 5. We then lost against Brentford, lost against Ipswich, lost against Man United. Then the World Cup happened. We showed you that United States won the World Cup in 2022, Qatar. We then came back. We got beat by Villa 3-1, which was fine. Villa finished, I think, in the top 10 this season. We drew with Crystal Palace. I think it was around this time that we had the message saying that we needed to improve things. Let's go back through my messages and let's see, can we go back far enough to view? No, we can only go back to the 19th, just scrolling down. So I'm not too bothered about showing you that. We lost against Southampton, we drew against Fulham, and then all of a sudden we turned a bit of a form together. Beat Tottenham 3-1, beat Fulham 4-3, beat Newcastle 3-1. We didn't get Luis Muriel scoring the goals. Pasalic got 2 there. Pasalic got 3 there, sorry. Got the hat-trick in that 3-1 victory coming from behind. Fulham in the FA Cup third round, beat them 4-3. Dewsbury Hall, Adebayo's own goal, Andre Silva and Uribe getting the goals in that game. And then the 3-1 victory against Tottenham, and then before then, Castagna, Vardy and Maddison getting the goals. So people were starting to find the net. Everything was looking good. As I showed you at the time, we got the expectations message at 7:58 saying that they were expecting us to lose, which was fine. I did think the form we were on, we would have probably beaten them. And then an hour later, they terminated the contract. Cannot continue to operate in this way. And that was us gone. And at this point in the season, we were sat in 11th place. 27 points from 28 wasn't great, but a couple of victories and we'd have been there in the top 7. 100% we'd have been there in the top 7 at that point. Forest, meanwhile, had 12 points from 21 games. About, was it, I think, a week or so in game went on, and then we got the Forest job. So I think you can tell when we took over at Nottingham Forest, after this 1-0 defeat against Arsenal, 2 defeats in a week against Arsenal, saw the end of Steve Cooper. We came in and we had a nice little run. Fulham, Leeds and Everton were all in the low half of the table, and we got 7 points in that first episode. Victories over Fulham, Leeds and the draw against Everton. 3-1 victory over Fulham away from home. Tayo Awoniyi getting 2, Willy Bolly getting the other one, and that's gone right back up to the top, which is annoying. Leeds, after that, we beat 4-1, Tayo Awoniyi getting 1, Gibbs White, Brennan Johnson, Renan Lodi, and all of a sudden it just snowballed from there. Victories over Tottenham and Brighton, we got smashed by Liverpool, a 4-4 draw against Man United, which was an absolute freak result. Also, just hit the microphone. We went 4-0 up and drew 4-4, which was just bizarre. We conceded 4 goals in 20 minutes, which probably could have done some damage, but it didn't really. We lost 2-1 against Brentford. That was the start of the next episode. So we lost against Brentford in the first game of the episode. We then drew with Chelsea 3-3 in what was the opposite, a really freaky game. 2-0 down after 48 minutes. We pulled it back to 2-2, conceded a penalty within 3 minutes of coming back to 2-2, and Jesse Lingard scored late on to make it 3-3. And then after that, we just went from strength to strength, really. Beat Wolves, beat Palace, lost against Villa, 2 goals each for Emi Buendia and Danny Ings. And then to finish off the season, 5-3 against Bournemouth, 5-1 against Newcastle, 2-1 against West Ham, 3-0 against Leicester, and 4-2 against Southampton. We didn't bring in any players at all because we came in on the 3rd of February. Transfer window was already shut. There was no signs actually made in game. All the signs were made on the 27th of June. Nothing came in afterwards. In terms of player sales, they sold Harry Toffolo to Brescia for £1 million. A couple of loans gone out here. Cafu for £600,000. But yeah, not a lot happened either way. And that is pretty much what happened in this first season. We ended up finishing 13th. Leicester finished on 11th, sorry. Their season after we left saw them go. So they lost against Chelsea. They didn't do particularly well in the month of February. Won 1 game in March, won 1 game in April, and 2 games in May, which meant that they finished in 11th. Just got away from us, really. I thought we were going to catch them coming to the back end of the season, but so they didn't do well without us. And before we go, we'll just show you the league table. Man City won the league, Liverpool second, Arsenal, Man United are in there as well. And we will just look at the European stuff before we go. Just show you the, what is it before it gets changed? We know the Europa League. So Inter against AC in the Europa League final. Champions League is Liverpool against PSG, and the Conference League is Nice against West Ham. So we will bring you that in the next episode to see who wins what. Like I say, just a quick episode, just talk you through the season, talk you what happened. In the next episode, it will be the transfer window. We'll go through the squad plan and go through what the plan is going forward and what we plan on doing, and hopefully bringing in the right players to improve on what we've done this season. If you've enjoyed today's little mini episode, well, second of today's episode, little mini episode, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. We want 100 subscribers by the time the full game comes out. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.